Aloha! Hey, it's Julie Ziemelis from 365 Kona, and I'm here with
Lance Owens with Luva Real Estate, but we go, our team is KonaHomeTeam.com.
Yep, and my husband is partners with Lance and his real estate business at 365 Hawaii Realestate.com. And we are talking a little bit more about what it's like to live in Kona, and Lance here has some really great ideas that he wants to share with you. I wanted them to start off with the 10-10-10 because that is really fun.
Okay. And this comes off, some of you guys may have seen the post on the page the other day. You know, somebody asked about areas to live in and where's good. And, you know, I think any place along this, you know, I prefer the west side of the island. So I love it all along here. But at the end, my wife and I decided that we wanted to live in the tens. And so everybody's like, well, what's the tens? And it's like, okay, I'm 10 minutes from Kona. I'm from the town proper, or we're going to go into that next. Yeah. So there isn't a proper Kona town, but I live 10 minutes from town. I live 10 minutes from the airport, 10 minutes from Costco, and it's 10 degrees cooler.
No, 10 degrees cooler, too.
Yeah,
so it's 10-10-10-10.
10. Yeah. So there's lots of 10s, and, you know, it's just kind of, it's something that we learned because we had lived down south, about 40 minutes out of town. We loved it down there. Julie will bash it when you've caught any of our other shows. She gives me a hard time about that area. But I love that area. I wish we'd have known each other then because I'd have drug her down there and made her like that area.
Because 40 minutes out of town sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But that's why the 10-10-10, right?
Right.
Because if you are an active human being that actually is living in Kona town, right, and not retired, where you don't ever come into town, or if you don't have kids, because sometimes when you have kids like we do, you want to be kind of close to their friends or close, you know. So it's
movie
a community
theater,
aspect,
skateboard park,
skateboard parks, beach parks, seeing your friends for drinks downtown.
Yeah.
It's if you really want to get a flavor of what it's like to actually like enjoy Kona town, that 10-10-10 thing actually works out because 10 minutes doesn't seem like that's far from anything, but that encompasses. Tell them what 10-10. Like if you had to live 10 minutes, how far could you go around? Actually, downtown?
You know, you're gonna be well. Like I'm up in Koloko, so I'm above the airport. So actually, I'm above Costco area, kind of that halfway between Costco and airport. Up in that area, so that's 10 minutes away. You get into Palisades, you know, that's another 3 or 4 minutes, but anything under 20 minutes, you know, we're going to call in the 10s because you're not up into the 20s.
Yeah.
We got, hey, you guys, is the volume okay? Somebody go yell at that tractor over there.
Oh, so, we got construction behind us. Sorry, guys.
We got a tractor fired up, but hopefully you can hear us and we'll keep talking about that.
Yeah.
So, in the 10 degrees cooler thing, you know, one of the things is I've lived in Hawaii 35 years now, and for most of the 35 years, I've been within 5 blocks of the ocean. So the first time I've been away from the ocean, you know, and life, as you get older, things change in your interests, you know, and I've kind of sold my fishing boat 4 or 5 years ago, and I've just been getting more into the land and the earth, and so it's kind of cool. You know, I'm living up there where it's cooler, we got a little bit of land, and the 10-10-10.
Yeah. And if you guys have been following us too, is Eric and I moved up to elevation. We're at 800 feet. And last night I actually had to wear a sweatshirt and my pajama pants to bed because it was actually 60-something up here last night.
Yeah.
And I love it. I've never slept so well in Hawaii in my life.
This is the farthest you've lived. Well, I guess in Waikoloa Village you were
yeah, that was but it was a little bit cooler, but this definitely being up this high is definitely cooler.
Yeah.
And then we also have seen people who are coming into Kona to look for a place to live. One of the people on our group said, does it really matter? Is it really going to affect my life in what neighborhood I choose to live in? And I'm like, yes, it will.
So there's a question for you on what the elevation was where you're at.
So we're at 1,800 feet elevation.
And we're at 800.
So I'll tell you, so she was in the mid-60s. I was at 55 when I woke up the other day. I screenshotted it. So I'm like, it's 55, everybody.
So if you're looking for a house and you like elevation, make sure they actually have windows that closes. One of our friends lives basically in a coffee shack, and she can't close the windows, and she's freezing.
Yeah.
So, just that, no matter how close to the land you want to live there. Yeah, she lives on a coffee farm.
And remember, too, in the daytime, I'm still up in the 70s and 80s.
Yeah. Once the sun comes up a little bit, it starts to warm up. But that really makes a difference if you're here for the summer, too, just because down near the ocean, it's just, it's 88 degrees in the middle of the day down there. And up here, it's probably, 84, 80, I mean, it's just enough to kind of just take a little bit off the edge.
Yeah.
But we talked about this, too, before, that the higher up you go, and you probably get a better view, you're going to pay more too.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So
yeah, there's certain people that just call me out and they say, I only want something 600 feet or above in elevation.
Mm-hmm.
I wish we had that search criteria.
Yeah, so somebody asked me about that. Can they search the homes by elevation? And I don't think people put that information into the MLS, right?
It's not accurate enough. It's not a mandatory field, so I got to admit, because nobody else does it, I don't do it.
Yeah.
We don't put it in there. You'd think they could geographically tag it by the location.
Yeah.
Because I can click on any of these listings and pull it up and see the elevation. And just being here on the Big Island for 20 years, I pretty much know, by
kind of what you're doing, yeah.
But we can put you in for a map search and draw a line. And I can do that way if you want something in that area. You might get something at 400 or 500 feet because the elevation isn't exact. But we could do that.
No, that's a good idea because that's helpful.
Yeah.
Because there are people who are saying, I've talked to a few of you, that the concept of catching these trades coming into the house and being able to have the wind blowing and not paying top dollar for air conditioning is very important. So that definitely counts on elevation.
Yes, and I think the big thing that we've mentioned before, but let's bring it up again real quick. Malcolm Mackay. You guys know what Malcolm Mackay is? Probably half of you are shaking your head no. So Malka is like mountain. So just remember that because Mackay doesn't sound like anything like ocean. But Malka is like mountain. So you want the back of your house to face the mountain and the front of your house to face the ocean. Because what happens is the water heats up during the day, pushes the air out, and it pushes it up the mountain. So you've got a breeze coming off the ocean all day long pushing through your house.
See my hair blowing?
The rest of the state is runs off of trade winds and things like that, but we don't. We've got these huge mountains.
Oh, okay.
So that's the difference. So at nighttime, when things start cooling off, you'll literally see the air change and start coming back down through the house and pushing out to the sea. So you got a built-in fan or a built-in circulation system.
True. Yeah.
So if you're sideways to this, just make sure you're in good shaded areas.
Right. In fact, this house that we're in right now was built probably in the 1950s, and they definitely use that concept because we have the windows are all open on that side. It comes up and down.
Yeah.
But if there's some different housing complexes in Kona, like the Pines, and they were built sideways, and that doesn't have the airflow. So that's why it's so hard. And if you guys need to come actually down here and see these different housing complexes and stuff instead of just looking at a house by itself, because it definitely makes a difference on how it feels from where you're at elevation and also airflow.
Totally. Any house that was built by people that lived here and were raised here before the big companies or the big builders came in, like D.R. Horton and them before they came in. Everybody built Malka and Mackay. You knew that was just something you grew up knowing.
But the developers looked
at a piece of paper
in Los Angeles and said,
I swear these guys were sitting in a bedroom or in a basement somewhere in Kansas, because you've got these beautiful homes in Pualani Estates, and you got the view is the kids' bedrooms have the ocean view like this, and the living room and master bedroom all look to the street.
Yeah. And that's just right below us. So.
Yeah.
And also, a couple of you have mentioned that you don't want cookie cutter homes when you look for a home here. And there's a variety of different neighborhoods that were built way back when, where every house is different, right? So that's up a little bit higher in elevation too, where the older people used to live, right? So this area up here is where the Malamahalo Highway and the Hawaii Road area. This whole area was developed for people to actually live, right? Yeah. And then down near Kona,
there was no Queen K. That's another interesting thing. People are like, why is it Queen K and then it changes to I forget the name of it, where it changes right there in the middle just before it gets to Laco Street, Kuakini. So it changes to Kuakini and then it changes to Mamalahoa Highway. Well, there was no Queen K. There was Mamalahoa. That's where everybody lived along in the cooler elevation, and they got down to town by going down Kuakini.
Ah, there we go.
So
and they got up here through Hawaii Road.
Yeah.
Okay. So. And speaking of that, with regional stuff, give them a little bit of that background you're telling us about the Kailua Kona aspect of life.
Okay.
Like why?
So another great discussion we started talking about in that same thread actually was, well, I live in Kona. Well, I live in Captain Cook, or I live here, I live there. So get to real quick. So Kailua is actually the town everybody calls Kona. And you got Kailua and Oahu. So Kailua and Oahu is much more populated. It was much nicer area that everybody wanted to go to. And so anyways, it was a lot more populated. So as Kailua and Kona started getting more populated and building up, people got confused. They're like, well, yeah, I live in Kailua, you know, and everybody assumed you were on Oahu. So they started calling it by the district or the zone that you're in. So you're in Kona. So they started calling it Kailua-Kona. So everybody knew you were on the Big Island. And as we get lazy, like we do, we shorten terms up, and we just start calling it Kona. So you'll get some of the purists that have been born and raised here and stuff that won't even, they'll just look you in the face and say, where's Kona at? What town is Kona? Tell me where Kona is. You know, it's like, you know what I'm talking about, but they refuse to acknowledge it.
Because it's a region,
so,
really.
Yeah, it's a region. So we've got South Kona and North Kona. So basically North Kona would be what everybody is actually Kailua Kona is a majority of it, but you've got Kainaliu and you get the beginnings of Kealakekua right at the end of North Kona, and then so you get into South Kona, which is Kealakekua, and through an area that everybody calls Captain Cook, which is just it's a district, a CDP, so it's not even there's not a town of Captain Cook, but they put the first post office was in a building that was Captain Cook Coffee Company, I think, back in the early 1900s. So they called it the area of the CDP. They called it Captain Cook. So there was no town of Captain Cook, but we all refer to Captain Cook as basically being from Napopo Road to almost like to Moali'i.
Oh wow, really?
Then, yeah. So all that Kona Paradise that you love, that's all
love
Captain
myself
Cook.
some Kona Paradise.
That's all called. That's Captain Cook.
Okay.
If you write a letter to them, it's Captain Cook Hawaii.
Okay,
So,
there you
yeah.
go. And also, we had this discussion on some different things too, where I sometimes call downtown Kona, and a bunch of purists, like you said, so there's no such thing as downtown Kona. It's Kailua Village. Yeah. So if you ever see me writing the word Kailua Village, it's because I don't want to be beaten by people who say there's no such thing as downtown Kona. So there you go. Put that into your little lexicon of things when you come here, and you can sound almost like a local.
You want to make it harder? So actually, Kailua Village is just that area right below Palani and Kuakini down in the village area, and they've got a whole different set of rules for businesses and things like that for the village area. But I'm with you. You know, I call all this area Kailua Village or Kailua Town.
Right. And that's before it started building out with Walmart and everything else. So yeah. But I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of some like side history, some side opportunities for finding locations, and we're gonna call
we're getting told to cut it, but one last tongue twister. So North Kona and South Kohala is also known as West Hawaii.
Oh, that's right.
Think about that. All right. See ya.
Okay, you guys, aloha. Tune in to us, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel.